The bottom line is, this is the most embarrassing defence that the Premier League has to offer, conceding more goals than any other team away from home, as much as 3 more than Crystal Palace. When he wrestled the captain Jordan Henderson, now he should be made to pay for this, because anyone who thinks that it's okay to grab the neck round our captain and throw him to the floor needs their head tested. Me and Everton were foul because they want to cripple Mane, don't they? Our best player this season. So he definitely deserved a red card for that, and probably 5-match ban or so. Absolutely ridiculous and disgusting behaviour from Paul Pogba. Howard and Herrera got a team of the season card. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. Henderson's missed out. Henderson is so underrated. He's an absolutely brilliant player, but nobody sees it, and everyone gives Herrera all the credit, even though Henderson does a better job. For example, per game, Henderson makes 3.7 tackles, Herrera makes 2.7 tackles, and with those tackles, Henderson makes 1.2 fouls, but Herrera makes 1.5 fouls. But what really got me was the intent on his face before he did it. He looked so angry, and then there was nothing accidental about it, we all know that, but he just grabbed Henderson, chucked him to the floor. It's just absolutely disgusting. Disgusting behaviour, and especially if you're the person that breaks the world record transfer fee. It's a joke. This shows that Herrera is dirty, and it doesn't do as much of a shift as Henderson. Henderson makes more passes per game. Henderson runs further per game. I think it's only Eriksen that's run further than him per game. He's run further than Kante even. Henderson is absolutely class, and I'm surprised. Well, actually, to be honest, I'm not surprised that he's not in the team this season, because it's EA, and EA always give United players credit. That's what happens with all big money signings that go to United, all big players, like Di Maria a couple of seasons back. Van Persie was a flop. In the end, Falcao was a flop. These players knew what they were doing beforehand, but they turned into flops after putting the United jersey on. 4 United players in this team of the season, 2 Liverpool. Even though Liverpool finished 2 places higher than them in the table, we've got Champions League football. What have they got? Europa League again. Well, they get Champions League if they win the Europa League, but I have to wait and see about that one. So I think Herrera should be kicked out of the team this season, replaced by Henderson, but it's too late now. Now, for me, this is a bit ridiculous, because back to last summer, Paul Pogba cost £90 million to United, and in my opinion, and well, it is probably fact, Coutinho is a lot better than Pogba, 3 or 4 times better than Pogba, and more valuable. So the fact that he might go for less money than United got Pogba for is absolutely ridiculous. If Pogba costs 90, Coutinho costs at least 200. For £100 million, you should be able to get an absolutely world-class player. And they've gone with Lukaku. I don't care that he's young. It does not matter that he's young, because at the end of the day, he won't be staying for the rest of his career. You will sell him at some point, so there's no advantage to having a really young guy. There's no advantage to having someone 22 over 29, providing they can still play to the best of their ability. It honestly does not matter about age, because they will be off. They will not be loyal. Any player that goes to Man United will not be loyal. Here's why. Players do not come from the Man United Academy and make the Man United starting 11. They get sold straight away. Therefore, every single player that plays for United has come from some other club that they were previously supposedly loyal to. No player that wears a United shirt anymore is therefore loyal. They can't be loyal, because otherwise they wouldn't be playing for the club, which they've only chosen because of the money. Lukaku claimed that it's the best club in the world. How can you put that down? Well, it's clearly not. Maybe it's the most highest paying club in the world in terms of your wages, and that's the only reason he accepted. It's the brutal truth of it. Furthermore, let's move on. Shea Yojo has gone out on a season-long loan, and he's been included in the Champions League squad. Exactly the same as Ryan Kent. Both of them out on loan, and they've been included in the Champions League squad. Now, what sense does that make? Are we seriously going to recall them back from their loans to help us out in the Champions League? Not a chance. So why they have been included is absolutely beyond me. He can't afford to include Nathaniel Klein, but he can afford to include those two. Sorry, but in my opinion, that's pretty ridiculous for me. Especially, let's move on to the players that haven't quite made it. Danny Ings and Lazar Markovic. They're both available to play. They're both actually very good players, but Klopp doesn't give them the opportunity, and they've been left out of the squad. Why have they been left out of the squad? And Ojo and Kent have been stuck in it. It literally makes no sense. I don't know what Klopp's playing at. And someone else they've signed is Lindelof from Benfica for £31 million. Wait, who is Lindelof here? Who is Lindelof? £31 million for some unknown from Benfica. I mean, who even is he? I suppose, oh, well, he sorted out their defensive problems like Bailly was supposed to. No, it's 31 million for Lindelof. Who is Lindelof? I can't really comment because I don't know who the hell he is. Oh, and he's signed for United for £31 million. It's an absolute joke. That was not a red card for me. They say it ticks all the boxes. It doesn't. There's no malice in that. There's no intent in that. He was going for the ball and Edison ducked his head. It was Edison's fault, not Mane's. Of course, we know Liverpool can't defend with their awful duo at the back, Matip and Lovren or Clavin, whoever we're playing. We know they can't defend. Goal number 1. Pathetic. Kevin De Bruyne plays a simple through ball through the middle of Liverpool's defence, and this is the result. Aguero rounds the keeper and puts it into an empty net. That is absolutely embarrassing. This is why we need a big defender like Van Dijk, but we don't have one, so these kind of mistakes happen. Next up is the big one, Paul Pogba. Now, I've had a few Paul Pogba rants in the past, and surely EA can't give him another 88. 88 is absolutely mental. 86 is far too high as it is, but come on, it's EA. They're not going to give him what I think he deserves, which is probably about 80 at maximum. But I've given him an 86. I think he's been absolutely poor last season. This season he'll probably be a little better, surely. I don't think he can get any worse. Simple, sweaty goal. Aguero and Gabriel Jesus combining again. Mignolet looking like an absolute fool again. 3-0. Having demolished Arsenal 2 weeks ago, to going from that to this is just terrible. I'm absolutely sick to the back teeth of it. I don't know why we can't learn to defend, sign a new defender or something. Well, we can't sign a new defender anymore. We've lost that chance. Let's just keep signing strikers, and then, oh, hello, we might score a goal. But if we concede 4, it doesn't really matter, does it? And actually, we haven't even scored a goal in this game. It's an absolute joke. And then he brings on Solanke. Oh, that's helpful, isn't it? I don't know why I signed him in the first place. He's not helped. I'm sorry, but this is what this video is. These players play for United, so EA will give them really high ratings, because that's how it works. That's how it works on FIFA. Next up, Martial. I've left his rating the same because he was absolutely diabolical last season, but I've upgraded all his stats because he'll be just so he can be OP again like he was in last FIFA, because that's what EA want. It's irritating. These players don't deserve these high ratings after the awful season they had. 6th place in the league. That can't justify these ratings, but hey, this is what I think that they'll get, not what I think they deserve. And next up, we've got Romelu Lukaku, who will obviously get an upgrade because he costs £75 million. Why? Because he's signed absolute clowns of players. Yes, he's the biggest clown of them all, but let's go through each one individually. Simon Mignolet and his backup, Loris Karius, is an actual laughingstock. He's an actual, literal joke of a player. I can't believe we're actually paying him to wear a Liverpool shirt. I stand by my decision of putting United ninth. I wasn't expecting any heroics from this Europa League side, and as a guest, the world record signing of Paul Pogba was an absolute flop. I called this because of United's habit of making flops of potentially world-class players, for example Di Maria a couple of seasons ago, and I was right with Pogba. The funniest thing is, when you Google waste of money, Paul Pogba appears in images. Google knows, I know, Pogba is dreadful and so are the Red Devils. 666 is the number of the devil, and United finished 6th. Fitting. And oh my word, if we do not get a result out of that game, and Klopp is still the manager of Liverpool, I'm going to go absolutely nuts. Alright, Matip next. For him to be Liverpool's best defender is absolutely embarrassing. Matip is just awful. He's not good at all. People give him far too much credit. He's dreadful. It's only because you're comparing him to the likes of Lovren and Clavin. They're both even worse. Lovren, dreadful mistakes every single game that cost us a lot of the time. Clavin is even worse. None of those three should be even in the first 18. Never mind first, second and third choices. They need to be kicked out of the club in January, surely, because for those to be the key members of our defence is just pathetic, to be quite honest. The fact that he is happy to throw that back in our faces shows that we cannot respect his decision. We were there when he needed us, so where is he when we needed him? If Coutinho knew that he wanted to leave at the start of the summer, then he should have said it there and then we would have had time to find an adequate replacement. But the fact that he's left it until the day before the season starts to hand in a transfer request shows that he does not care about the position he has left this club in. All loyalty has gone out the window the moment Barcelona click their fingers. Now Liverpool have just 2 weeks to sign up a star, possibly the likes of Draxler or Pulisic. But let's face it though, Barcelona have the power. Smaller clubs are too intimidated to stand up against them, so as soon as they waltz into proceedings, the players that they want come running and their clubs can do nothing about it. In this case, Neymar has walked out, so who can blame them for swooping in for Coutinho? How Klopp has not been given the boot yet is absolutely beyond me. He's the most deluded manager in the Premier League. The fact that he can sit there and defend his defenders' performances in press conferences, challenging the opinions of interviewers as if they've never watched a game of football in their lives, proves just how much of a stubborn, foolish and know-nothing fraud of a manager he is. What killed the game, really, was the lack of game management that allowed us to concede on the stroke of our time when everyone should have been back behind the ball. Matip ended up assisting Dele Alli, who couldn't miss, with no proper pressure from any Liverpool player. None of them could be bothered. None of them cared enough to put in a shift that would have earned the respect from the fans. By that point at half-time, it was game, set, match to Tottenham. That bunch of clowns should be absolutely ashamed of themselves, as the fans are of them. Salah was the only player that actually made a difference. The rest of them need to take a long, hard look at themselves. For the money they get paid, that was absolutely horrendous. Adios.